It's funny. We live on this planet every single day, but how often do we really think about it? About the ground under our feet and the incredible world it belongs to? We kind of take it for granted. So let's just take a quick moment to rediscover the absolutely amazing fundamentals of our home planet.
Okay, so let's jump right into the big puzzle, shall we? I mean, just look outside your window. The world looks flat, right? The horizon is just a straight line. And yet, we know that's not true. We know we're living on a giant sphere. So what gives? How do we square what our eyes are telling us with what's actually real? That's the first thing we're going to tackle.
And this, of course, leads to that classic kid question, which is actually a brilliant question. If we're all on a giant spinning ball, why don't we just fall off? Why doesn't everything just go flying off into space? It's a great question, and the answer is really the key to understanding how our entire world works. To get that answer, we've got to look down. We need to talk about the invisible forces that are constantly at work right under our feet, literally holding our world together. The answer, in just one word, is gravity. That's it. It's this incredible, invisible force that's constantly pulling everything, and I mean everything. You, me, the oceans, the very air we're breathing, pulling it all directly toward the center of the planet. It's like a giant cosmic anchor that keeps us all grounded. So, let's solve that flat versus round puzzle. Here's the deal. The Earth is just so unbelievably massive that from our tiny human point of view, its curve is impossible to see. It feels flat for the same reason a football field feels flat to an ant. We're just standing on an incredibly huge sphere. And, fun fact, it's not even a perfect sphere. It actually bulges out a little bit around the middle at the equator. So what is this giant ball we're all standing on? Well, it's rock. We live on the cool, hard outer layer, the crust. But if you could drill down deep, deep into the center, the heat and pressure are so intense that the rock is actually molten liquid. And sometimes that liquid rock, which we call lava, finds its way to the surface through a volcano, just to remind us of the fiery heart of our planet. All right, now let's pull our view back, way, way back. Imagine you're an astronaut looking at Earth from space. There's one color that you'd see more than any other, blue. And that, of course, is why Earth has its famous nickname, the blue planet. And here is the simple reason why. 71%. Over 2/3 of our planet's surface isn't land at all. It's water. When you see it laid out like this, it really hits home, doesn't it? Honestly, it's almost more accurate to call our home planet ocean than planet Earth. The land we live on is really just the bits that happen to poke up through all that water. The huge majority of that water is salt water, and it's all connected in these 5 massive bodies we know as the oceans. They are, without a doubt, the defining feature of our planet's surface. So that other 29%, that's the land. And we basically break it down into 2 simple categories. You've got your continents, which are the really, really huge land masses, and then you have your islands, which are just any smaller piece of land that's totally surrounded by water. So, we've looked deep inside the Earth and all across its surface. Now it's time to zoom out one more time, even further, and see exactly where our planet fits in the bigger picture of our cosmic neighborhood. Wrapping around our entire world is the atmosphere. The best way to think about it is like a perfect protective blanket. It does 2 crucial things. It holds all the oxygen and other gases we need to breathe, and at the same time, it shields us from the sun's most dangerous radiation. It is, quite literally, our planet's life support system. And this blanket isn't just one simple layer. It actually has 5 distinct layers. Right down here where we live is the troposphere. That's where all our weather happens. Above that is the stratosphere, where jets fly to get a nice smooth ride. Higher still is the mesosphere, which acts like a shield, burning up meteors before they can hit us. Then there's the thermosphere, where you'll find satellites orbiting. And finally, the exosphere. That's the very last, thinnest layer before you reach the vacuum of space. So you take this big, round object, held together by its own gravity, covered in water and wrapped in a multi-layered atmosphere, and what you have is the very definition of a planet, a large, round object orbiting a star. And the difference between a planet and a star is actually pretty simple. Stars, like our sun, are giant, raging furnaces. They're incredibly hot, and they create their own light. Planets, like Earth, are cool. They don't make any light of their own. The only reason we can see our planet is because it's reflecting the light from our star.
And that's our address in the cosmos. We live on the third of 8 planets, all journeying together in a constant dance around our local star, the sun.
So we know where we are. But now let's talk about the most important question. Why are we here? Why is there life on this particular blue marble? Let's zoom back in and focus on what makes our home so incredibly special. When you boil it all down, it comes to this perfect and maybe incredibly rare combination of 3 things. We have air we can actually breathe, we have water that stays liquid, and we have soil that allows plants to grow. This trifecta, this is the secret sauce for life as we know it. And this really brings us to the ultimate takeaway from all of this. Understanding how our planet works isn't just for a science test. It leads to a simple but really powerful conclusion. The more we learn about how all these delicate systems work together, the more we realize just how vital it is that we protect them. So let's just end with this one thought. We happen to live on a planet with this extraordinarily rare, perfect set of conditions for life to flourish. The big question we all have to answer is, what are we doing with that precious gift?